folks. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for the comments. I'm definitely going to acknowledge the folks that are here. Before we get started, let me make sure I introduce myself and tell you a little bit about tonight's topic. My name is Tanya Smith with Stream Like a Boss TV and Get Noticed with Video at getnoticedwithvideo.com. I am super excited that this is the very first live stream I've done for 2024. So that's groundbreaking, right? And what we're going to talk about are life-changing lessons that I'm carrying from 2023 into 2024. Let me do this. I want to make sure I acknowledge folks that are here. Look, our streaming show, our live stream show is all about live streaming video systems and strategies that can help coaches and creators to engage in conversations that convert viewers into clients. That's a little bit new, huh? We've done some twists and some tweaks and things over the past quarter. And I'm really, really excited to dive into this for the new year. So look, here's what we still do. We've done this for now 3 years, y'all. Stream Like a Boss TV. That's crazy. And every single time we introduce it, I want to make sure that I acknowledge you. If you are an OG, that means you've been here before, you've seen the show, and you're part of the family. You're the Stream Like a Boss family. So I want you to type in hashtag OG if you've seen the show before. I want you to type in hashtag newbie if this is your very first time, so we can acknowledge you and welcome you here. And I'm going to pop up some comments because I'm seeing a lot of Happy New Year's and all the things. So let me do this right now, let you know that I see you, I'm with you, I feel you. Happy New Year to you as well, John Lacey. Learn live streaming with John Lacey, y'all, is in the house. I see stepping out with Valerie Harris. Happy New Year. Happy new. Miss Valerie. I love it. I love it. Oh, John, I didn't know that. So you first heard of her from me? Okay, of Judy Fox. That is really awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of people. We're going to talk about that a little bit because it's been intriguing to me to see names of folks popping up that I have known for so many years. Debbie in the house. Hey, I'm so excited about what you're doing right now, just making those meaningful connections and bringing people together. I've been seeing your images and photos on Facebook. Scott Benedict, yes. I know. I can't wait either. I'm just glad to be here with each and every one of you. I see my OGs standing out. Yes. Tech Troublemaker. Wonderful to see you, Roy. Look, I got a lot of OGs. I'm just going to pop all your names up. We're just going to do a roll call here. So Valerie Harris is an OG. John, OG. Debbie Prediger said, part of the family. I know. Yes, you are. Balance of Beauty OG as well. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year as well to you. Look, I need to do all the party noise makers and all that other stuff too, but I really, really I'm thankful to be able to be here with you and to spend some time with you tonight. I did, for those of you who have seen my social media posts lately, you know that I've been struggling a little bit because I'm missing my friend who passed. Actually, New Year's Eve is when I found out. And it was the day before that she passed away. So I have been sharing some posts in tribute to Shantae Hawkins, one of the most beautiful people, kind-hearted people, passionate people, professional people that I've ever met in my whole entire life. We knew each other IRL in real life. So we got hugs and we had coffee and we had breakfast. We tried to meet at least every couple of months, and I wish it had been more often. I'm not going to say too much about that because, yeah, it still hurts and it's still very recent. But I just want you to know that I got up here on this virtual stage because I knew that this is what she would want me to do. It was tough. I almost canceled, but then I thought of you. And I thought they need me to get up and to show up so that they can continue to show up too. So if I sound a little nasally, it is because I have had some tears. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but I am well. am well, and I'm just praying for the family to be okay because it was too soon. I mean, we're the same age, so it really it drives home the point that life is short and it's precious. So let me say hello to a few more people, and then we're gonna just dive on in to some of these lessons learned. I love getting to see y'all. Gary Jones, I love seeing you here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Radiance by Ratilia. I'm glad you're here in 2024 too. Yes, we are all here. We are making it. Marcia Baker, another OG. I hope you're feeling better. I know you were not feeling great, but I know I'm super excited that you're here. But I hope you're also getting rest and hydration. Yeah, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, thank you, Balance of Beauty. Happy New Year, Tiffany in the house. Look, all of you, DJ. Yeah, we're gonna bring this energy up because we got some things to talk about, and I want, as I always do, to be real and transparent with you. So some of the lessons learned I want to share are going to be based on experiences that literally I am pulling out of things that happened in 2023. Because here's what we do. And I don't know if you're in this situation, and I really want you to be thinking about this. We're not even going to do our little intro video and all that stuff. So hopefully you can get your notepad and your pen and your hydration, all the things that I encourage you to do. But what I want you to think about right now, because a lot of times what we'll do when we come into the new year is we will say, I just can't wait. I'm excited about this new year, and I'm going to trash everything, leave it all behind in the year before, and I'm going to start new and fresh, and I'm going to do all these new things. But reflection and thinking back to the things that worked, the things that didn't work, the things that you want to stop, start, and continue. That's really key. It's critical because that gives you the space to be able to learn from lessons that you picked up. If you think about it and you put some time and attention into it, you might realize that not everything needed to be trashed. Some of the things that you learned and that you picked up and that helped you to grow in 2023 will help you to move forward because it's made you a better person. And so I really sat down and kind of reflected on it. My list was getting really long, and I said, let me just pick 5. So I'm going to try to stick to 5, and we're going to talk about these 5 lessons. And hopefully some of these may resonate with you, and you can take them and use them, but you also need to be thinking about your own life experiences and what has happened to you, for you, through you, to impact others. Like, what is it that you're taking with you from 2023 and embracing into the new year? So if there's one thing you can think of and you want to put it in the chat, then absolutely feel free to do that. Yes, I see my brother right there, Dan Roth. Here's this, just cooking the girls' dinner. I love that you're such an excellent father and husband. Thank you for continuing to be who you are. Okay, let's dive into these 5. How about that? Here's number 1. And I'm not going to have like a lot of slides and all that stuff this time, although I do. Y'all know, if you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I do love the visuals because the visuals do help, right? They do help to break up the monotony of the lecture style video. But mostly tonight, I just want to kind of talk to you. How about that? Through it, there may be some teaching. There may be some lessons. There may be some takeaways, of course. But we're just going to talk. Yes, I do have an outline, but I may stray a little bit depending on your comments and your questions and your thoughts. The first one, this is a lesson that was a huge takeaway for me. Huge. And that is, we have to be mindful, we have to be careful that we identify the difference between boundaries versus barriers. I have talked for many, many years about setting healthy boundaries. I am all about it, right? Setting healthy boundaries when it comes to your personal space, when it comes to your professional space. Give you an example in a second, but boundaries are different than barriers. Boundaries are intended to help us to create that safe space around us so that we can thrive and we can be whole and we can be healthy, right? Barriers, however, prevent us from getting to the things, the resources, the people, the connections that we really need to reach. There is a difference, but sometimes it feels and looks like it's the same thing. And so, one of the lessons that I've taken away from 23 is that there were certain things that I thought I was creating boundaries around, but they really had become barriers. They were dead weight for me. They were things that were keeping me from really growing fully into who I am supposed to be, right? And I want you to think about what I'm saying here, boundaries versus barriers. So boundaries would be things like I've created a scheduling calendar. So there may be people, for instance, that will come into my space on social media. You've gotten this too. I bet many of you, if you've been doing coaching or any type of service business for some time, you've probably had people test your boundaries. So I've had people that will come into my DMs, or I even had someone really break a cardinal rule by using my discovery session to sell their own stuff. Like they created an appointment using my calendaring system and then ended up trying to sell me on their services, which I thought was pretty bold, but also block after that, right? The boundary that I set in place was or is the calendaring system. It's the scheduling system because I know that I only have a certain number of hours in the day. I realize that I have many hats, and some of you do too, because you're working a full-time job, you're taking care of the family. For me, at different points, I've had 2 and 3 households to manage, right? Multiple pets, all the things, budget, you name it, juggling all the things on top of and in addition to the business. And so it's really important to me to make sure that I've set personal boundaries through the calendaring and scheduling system so that I can clearly tell people this is when I have dedicated space and time to connect for this particular thing. And that's healthy, y'all. So if you're doing that, and I've seen some debates about that on social media, but in the end, whatever other people have a problem with as far as that goes, it doesn't really matter to me because that is a healthy and safe boundary that helps me to keep this clear and helps me to make sure that I'm accountable to everyone who I've made commitments to. Okay? But there's barriers, and a barrier that I had created for myself was to say that I would only work with, and some of you will recognize when I say this what I mean. I would only work in these certain rectangular boxes, right? I would only focus on this particular thing, this particular topic, these particular people. And part of that is because I overcorrected and overadjusted from years of doing too much, doing the most. And sometimes we swing the pendulum all the way to the other side to our detriment, but not necessarily. Sometimes it's just a lesson we need to learn. And so there were 2 gentlemen in 2023, and I will not name their names, but they are high profile people in their industry who I had the pleasure and the honor of getting to meet one-on-one and to have conversation, like a deep, in-depth conversation with. And both of them, neither of them looks like me, totally opposite gender, different race, all the things. They didn't look like me. They didn't have the same lifestyle. We had different filters of experience. But it was interesting when they pointed out Why is it that in all of your material, you say you only work with women? Why are you focusing on that? If you take a look at your numbers and you research, you will really know truly who your audience is. Now, I'm not bashing anybody that says that is really that clear about who they want to work with, because at the time, that was specifically my safety mechanism for a number of reasons we don't have to get into. But what I recognized in the conversations, and these were separate conversations about 4 to 6 months apart, is that I had an opportunity to go into research and to find out more about, wait a minute, who is consuming my content? Who is reaching out and saying, hey, I'm willing to pay and invest in services with you? Who is saying, you know what? I love that you have this group coaching thing, but I really need one-on-one personalized custom help. And because I took the time, I listened to what they both said. They didn't resonate with me at first because I was kind of like, well, you don't tell me, you know how we do. I know who I want to be. I know what I want to do. But when I sat down and I really thought about it and I took the time to figure out where I am in the moment, and I researched and I looked at my numbers, what I realized is that over the years, now I've been in business as a coach since 2007-ish, so for a long time. What I realized is that there was a major shift. And you can kind of see that for those of you who are watching, if you're in YouTube right now, you can kind of see that there is a balance of almost 50-50 male and female here, right? So if your marketing message is not matching up to who you truly are connecting with, it's time to take a look and make sure you're aligned with who you are in the moment, because you could be missing out on opportunities. So when I say identify boundaries versus barriers, something that could have been a safety boundary for you before could end up turning into a barrier. And it's just a good idea to examine that. And in examining that and making some shifts and changes, I was able to expand my business. I was able to really take a close, hard look at, okay, I'm not offering enough in this space or in this thing. So now it's time for me to make a shift and create more offers that pull in and attract the people who I'm gifted to be able to engage and blessed to be able to engage right now in this moment and moving forward. It doesn't mean it's always going to be that way, but it's important for us to be able to make shifts. So we have to examine and look at what were the boundaries that I had in 2023? What are the barriers that I've created for myself and didn't realize they become barriers? And make corrections. So I hope that that is helpful. I hope that I gave you, thank you, Debbie. Yes, boundaries versus barriers. And sometimes they look a lot like the same thing, but if you really, really spend the time, you'll find something different. Now, one of the things that I absolutely loved about this is that it also, from a boundary and barrier standpoint, removing the barrier of limiting myself to only talking about video content strategies and video content creation opened up another space for me to say, you know what? What am I the best at that I see nobody else doing like I do? So that I could then tap into that gift and that message and really differentiate my brand as a video marketing coach. For me, it's systems and apps. People ask me about systems, apps, and tools all the time. Why did I keep pulling back? Because I thought, oh, well, let me look at this person over here and this person over there and this person over there, and they're not doing that, so I shouldn't do that. But you may be creating a barrier for yourself because you're not acknowledging what your true gifts and talents are. So really taking the time to examine that is so important and so critical. Girl, I see you, Michelle. Let me pop this up. Dr. Will Moreland in the house. Look, hold up. I got to do some confetti stuff. Let me pop you up with some confetti and some hype. Look, if you haven't followed Dr. Will Moreland, it's time. You got to do it. You got to do it because he is amazing. And what he has built with his life and with his brand is incredible. Michelle, look, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know, boom. I love it. And I want to thank, by the way, Dr. Will, you're one of the ones, there's several people that have reached out and you touched me by reaching out just to check in. And I just appreciate that. All of you, several of you who are in this chat right now reached out to check in. So just know that I'm here because of your support and because of your love and because you said, hey, we want you to be okay. So I'm okay. Michelle, I'm glad you started leaning into it. Yes, 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 yes. Let me pop this up because the real is in the house. The real about, hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was my pleasure, Lamika, my pleasure to be able to work with you. And look, if I hadn't recognized it as a barrier, I would have still just been focusing on group coaching. I wouldn't have reached out and said, hey, I know you don't want to do group coaching. So I have a one-on-one program that you and I can work together on. Opening up your mind and figuring out where those barriers are is going to be so key. So that's number one, y'all. That's number one. I see you get hired strategists. Okay, let's talk about lesson 2 because I still got 4 more to go. We have 5 total. So number 2, make over your marketing. Now, there's a lot that's going to be packed into this message that I'm giving you right here, the making over your marketing. What I don't mean, I'm going to tell you what I don't mean and what I do mean. Here's what I don't mean. I do not mean go invest in ChatGPT monthly premium account and just turn into a bot. I know everybody's using AI. Look, I use AI to complement my experience and my knowledge and what I'm able to do on my own. I complement with AI. But do not, please, when I say make over your marketing, and know that traditional tactics may be outdated, which is the point of this, it doesn't mean that means you need to go and now embrace AI to the point to where it becomes you. What I mean is you want to explore innovative strategies. You want to explore how can I utilize and leverage AI and other tools and systems and strategies that I'm learning? How can I leverage them and marry them to who I am and to my unique gifts, talents, and experiences? How can I do that? Not how do I let it take over and run my business for me? I think that's kind of the danger that I'm seeing in some of the branding and some of the copy that I see. I'm even starting to notice people noticing and recognizing when they see AI copy, because the folks who are not using it wisely are the ones who are literally going into ChatGPT, Claude AI, you name it. There's a bunch of them now. You're going out there and they are typing in a question, maybe even a series of questions. Maybe it's a deep question. It's very well thought through prompt. And they are literally copying and pasting what they get back without any thought or even reading the copy. So I want you to be careful of that. And I personally learned that lesson that I have to be careful of that. I can tell you this because I did it myself. I made that mistake a couple of times where I just relied on that and became a lazy marketer for a hot minute because it seems so easy to do. And you're like, oh, well, it has the answers. Why can't I just use the answers? Those are the right answers. No, they're not right if they don't have you in it. So as I'm learning to use more AI and other, because AI is not all there is, by the way, but other innovative, creative ways to be a marketer, I'm also recognizing the beauty of being able to marry that technology and to marry that innovation with my whole self. So, as you're using these tools, as you're using artificial intelligence and other new forms of media and all kinds of things that will come out because more will come, as you're using that, really consider, how do I use this and still not leave myself out of the equation? How do I start with me first? So when I go and I use AI now, instead of letting that be the answer, I come up with my own answers first, and then I say, help me to improve upon this. But even when it helps me to improve, I'm still going to say, okay, I still need to read it because I need to make sure I tweak this to sound like what I would say. This needs to be in my voice. Your unique voice is irreplaceable. Please don't forget that. Who you are, what you know, what you can do cannot be replaced by a bot. You can leverage the innovation, but don't let it replace you. So we've got to look at how to make over our marketing, because if we don't, we will get left behind. On the opposite end of what I'm saying here, is I don't want you to say, I'm just going to stick my head in the sand and not use any of this stuff, because you can get left behind, because people are able to move much more quickly and more in stealth mode, right? We're able to be more nimble and more flexible and to make changes and to shift and to adapt more quickly because of this technology. And that is a plus. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Let me pop up a few comments because I see some here inside of our chat. Yeah, John, I worry about what people are losing when they outsource their voice and personality to AI. I know. He said, it's all becoming so beige. Yeah, and you know what? Nicolette, I agree completely. Enhance. Yeah, use it to enhance, not to become you. Not to become you. Learning to express yourself well can be incredibly rewarding. Yes, it can. I mean, there's such beauty in us learning our craft and learning, so that we can become the new and improved version of ourselves. The person that I was 20 years ago is absolutely not the person I am today. The person I was 3 years ago. I shared a clip with me and Shantae earlier today. It was from 3 years ago, and I looked at the quality of the video, and I looked at just like me in general, and I thought, wow, I look like that. Wow, my video was pretty crappy. The quality, ugh. So the process of learning and growth, that is something that humans do. That is something that we do. Don't lose that. You can be making better use of your tools. So let me not miss this point when it comes to making over your marketing and realizing that your traditional ways of doing things may not work right now. And maybe they do, but you definitely have to take a closer look at your audience and what they want. If they want things faster, if they want things in a different format, if they want things to look more well designed, you now have the capability of doing that, and no excuses for not delivering. If you're in business for yourself, even if you're doing all the other things, trust me, because I do all the other things and still try to produce quality content and quality product. So it is possible, but you need to look for ways to be able to achieve what your customers want. What your clients need from you, you need to be able to deliver that. So if you're not able to deliver that in this moment, what you can pull from 2023 is, okay, I've learned that I was not able to deliver in the way that I used to. It's time for me to make some changes and adopt new ways of delivery and adopt new ways of serving. So when you do that, here's one thing that I've found myself doing in the past couple of weeks. Even though I wasn't initially taking clients, I did end up working with some of my one-on-one clients. And one of the things that I found that has been helpful for them especially in the systems realm, is that we have really gone hard into, I've gone hard and deep into, what do you have already? What do you already own? Let's stop going and buying new stuff, new resources, new apps, new websites, new whatever. Let's stop buying that and investing in that. And let's go back and take an inventory of the resources we currently have. What did we purchase in the last year that we've never even opened? Can it do the thing that we need it to do? On a personal level, I've done a very deep dive into my own system strategy and realized, okay, I need to make things simpler. So part of my marketing, my makeover for me, is streamlining some of the many, many, many tools that I have, y'all. Because instead of using 3 different tools to achieve one thing, I could use one. Because as we were talking about the whole AI thing, keep this in mind. The vendors that you're going and purchasing services from, many of them have upgraded too because of the technology that's available. So you would be surprised if you went to look at, hey, I've invested in this app or this platform, and wow, they've expanded their services and what they're capable of doing. I didn't even know. I didn't even know I had access to that. I had a lifetime deal to that. And I could do this, this, and this and get rid of this subscription I have over here. So a large part of what I'm going to be doing literally in 2024 will be around systems, workflows, strategies, looking at your resources and how you're effectively and more efficiently using them to create your content so that you can output more quality content in less time, because it is possible. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, let me pop this up. I know I'm doing that. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And you know, in Stream Bosses Academy, Nicolette, because you're in there, you know, we're going to be having more and more of those conversations too. I know everything and not getting another tool. And most of the time you don't have to. I had that conversation today with someone and I'm like, you know what? You already have this thing. Let's find a workaround so that you don't have to go and spend money on 3 other things when you have a system. Let's just make the flow be easier. Let's make this thing work for you. Let me see a couple of other comments. Oh, we need to hear about the DJ, the Osmo 3 thing at some point. Okay, I know. I didn't even bring it up here. I promise I'm going to talk about that because I got 2 cameras. It's not my fault though. Let me say this. I didn't go out and buy them. Santa brought them to the house. Santa bought me and the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I am absolutely loving. I'm gigging off of. And then I also, you can't see it, but I have a Tiny 2, an Osbot Tiny 2. So what I do need to do is a review video of both of those. And I'm also going to be doing some tips videos since my focus this year will be more on systems, tech, that kind of stuff. I will be breaking both of those cameras down so that you can kind of see some demos and get some ideas and see how I'm using them. So I will be making use of them. That's the thing. If you're going to invest, use what you're investing in. That's the key. Let's see what else. Yep, Scott said, I want to hear about the DJI too. I know. Right, Michelle? Streamlining with Stream Like a Boss. The Stream Boss. Yeah, Nicolette. Yep. He said, y'all need another AppSumo Anonymous meeting. That's funny. So more to come on that. But the point being, when it comes to marketing makeover, the 2 points I really want you to get from that lesson that I learned for myself are, you do need to look at how can I be more innovative and how can I work with the times, but at the same time, not allow that to overtake who I am as a person, right? How can I leverage it so that it doesn't overtake me as a human being? How can I leverage technology in a smarter, more efficient, and effective way? Okay, number 3. Some of y'all are not going to like what I'm about to say. I'll go ahead and give you that warning, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to say it anyway. And so, look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you or remind you to like the video. Okay, this is a lesson I learned, right? I learned that I was not doing a great job of reminding people to like the videos. And so I created an automated, animation to pop up to do that for me. So that's what that was, because I do forget. Here's number 3. Be mindful of who you allow to be your mentor. There were a number of people. Oh my God, there were probably hundreds of people in my feed this past year. A couple of months ago, there was a very famous person who had released a book. He did a book launch using YouTube, and the strategy was perfection. He did a good job. He did an excellent job at the launch, and it allowed him to make a lot of money and to have a lot of followers and all of those things. Okay, but here's where we fall into the trap when you're not mindful of who your mentor is. What happens is you can be led by the nose down paths that really are not your path. So you have to be watching, you have to be watchful. When you're looking at people online, I know it is very attractive and shiny to see certain people who at the time they look like, oh, they're super successful and they're brilliant and I want to do that too. And so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to mark out what their business model is and I'm going to follow that. And then when you get back to the real world and look at your life, your lifestyle, your accountability, like who your accountability to for and what is on your task list to do every day and the salary that you're bringing in, when you start looking at all those things, you realize we're two different people. And the way that this person did this thing or ran this business model may not be right for me. It may not be the strategy that I can instantly adopt and become wealthy from, even though they did. So be mindful of your mentors, because sometimes we get distracted by what we're seeing and we think that that is the way, but it's not the way for you. And what I have learned, because again, I'm saying all this stuff, y'all, to say I've done it too. These are lessons, meaning that I messed them up or I learned from these experiences. That's why I can honestly say this back to you, right? Debbie, yeah, and Lamika, guarding our minds, we have to align ourselves. Yeah, first and foremost, we have to look at who am I? And if you don't know who you are, it's time to do the work. I did a whole entire year and a half of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I did the master's certification years ago, not because I wanted to use it as part of my business at the time, but because I wanted to work on becoming a better person. I wanted to understand what were the things that were dramatically holding me back. What was the trauma that I needed to overcome so that I could better my life and those who were around me, right? The lives of those people who I was responsible for. How could I do that? If you haven't taken the time to know yourself, 2024 is a good year for you to do that. So if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you value, if you don't know what's important to you, if you don't know what your why is, it's easy to be led down a path by people who really don't have the same values as you. They don't operate their lives like you. They're not aligned as you are aligned. And I'm talking spiritually as well as in other ways. So you really have to be clear about that. And you have to find out, who am I and what do I believe? What am I okay with and not okay with? What are the healthy boundaries that I want to set for myself? Because your life and your lifestyle may be completely different from that person that you're looking at as a potential mentor. And so I have really gotten clear about that. And as this year rolls in, I've gotten clear about the people that I've followed over the last several years and who I will continue to follow and those that I won't. And the ones that I choose to follow and the ones that I choose to purchase and invest in myself to be a part of their programs, really crystal clear about what I'm willing to do, what I'm willing to adopt, and what I will repel. You can't do that until you're clear on all those things about yourself. Like, what do I believe? So I encourage you, I invite you to really get clear about that and take time if you're not clear, right? You said this, I just needed to pull it up again. Guarding your mind, guarding your heart, right? Marketers are going to market. You're so right. And they can market well. We can market well. All of us in this chat, we can market well. But who is it that we are, and who do we want to be, and who do we want to lead, and who do we want leading us? Let's be intentional and on purpose about that. What's up, Chocolate Quilts? Yes, Virginia, Happy New Year. I'm trying not to lose my voice, so I know I don't sound like myself, but hopefully you can still hear me clearly. Okay, so let's consciously choose mentors who truly resonate with us on an individual level. But let's know who we are. Let's take the time, even if it means to pause, and it means you're going to miss out on this next cycle of whatever the person is selling. Just take a pause for a minute, take a breath, and say, okay, I need to do a little bit more deeper diving into myself and who I am and what I want to be, so that I know I can recognize the mentor for me when I see them. Okay, 2 more. Accelerate action is number 4. Did y'all know that over planning can stall success? Did you know this? I'm such an over planner. I don't know. It's just a thing. I'm an over planner. I have all the Excel spreadsheets and the charts and all of that. And I can literally spend a whole half of a year planning before I take a step. And I realized in 2023 that is something that is a lesson that I've had to learn from. And that sometimes it's about stepping out and taking the action, right? Before things are fully planned, because you can't see the whole path. You can just maybe see the next few steps in front of you. And it's okay for you to walk because you can see the next few steps in front of you. Go. And don't stand there and wait until the whole path is lit up, because it may not be lit up. As you're walking forward, I'm going to give you a perfect example. This happened to me this week, actually this morning. It was super foggy, really foggy. I was coming back from my salon, from my stylist, because I go really early in the morning, like real early. I won't even tell y'all how early, but it's early. And Debbie, I see you. Say what? Over planning can stall success? Yes. But here's what happened. So I was driving my car, and all of a sudden I was like, ooh, it's really dark. Ooh, it's it's thick. It's really thick. Like it was cloudy, thick, dark click. I mean, I couldn't see, but just a few, not even a full mile in front of me, but just a few blocks ahead. So I drove a little slower, but I kept going. Now, what if I said to myself, oh, I got to wait till this fog lifts? Look, the people on the news said the fog wasn't going to lift until like 7 or 8 o'clock. We're talking, this was a couple hours before that at least. So I literally could have pulled my car over and sat there and waited for the light to show up and for the fog to go away and not been on my destination or my journey, and not made it to my destination and not been on my journey for 2 whole hours, I would have been behind, just sitting there on the side of the road waiting for the fog to clear. But we don't have to do that. Instead, what I did is I just drove a little slower and I kept moving so that I could get home safely. I kept moving, and the more that I drove, the more I could see the next path. I could see the next, here's the next stoplight. There's the next block. There's the next, there's my turn. Let me make that turn. But I kept moving. And so we really need to stop waiting. Yes, John, exactly. We have to stop waiting for the perfect time. Waiting for the perfect time to start is a trap. Take action, get feedback, refine. I love that. Y'all are so funny. Look, Debbie said, what? Say it isn't so. I know, right? Michelle said, oh, girl, I know. But we have to take action. So what that could look like, for instance, in your business or in your content creation and development even would be, okay, well, I'm going to stall. I'm not going to release this program or this offer because I don't have my landing page perfect yet. I'm not going to share this lead magnet because it's not perfectly. I haven't put all my autoresponder emails together yet. I've seen some people put out some really ugly stuff and they've made thousands upon thousands of dollars. And then I sit back and I look at myself and I'm like, but my stuff is stellar. Yeah, but nobody knows about it because you didn't put it out. It's not out there yet. And that's what we're doing is we're sitting on the side of the road, letting the fog dictate where we are instead of moving ahead and seeing what we can see and then moving a little bit more and seeing what we can see and making those adjustments. So yes, move. The message is accelerate your action. Accelerate your action. Here, I like how John put it. Take small, consistent action. What can you do today? Just one thing. And that's exactly what we have to do. In order for us to get where we need to go, we don't have to have the whole entire building built. We just need to step in the door, look around, and start putting things together. And we've got to do the same thing with our businesses at times. It just works that way. And we get to tweak and improve as we go, which is fine. My last and final lesson. And if you have questions, comments, if there's anything that you want to share, if anything I've said tonight has given you a nudge, I want you to take that nudge and do something with it. I do have a worksheet that I'm going to give to you in just a minute. I'm going to do that. But I want to remind you to like the video if you've learned anything at all from what we've talked about tonight. The last and final one. Oh, Strick in the house. What's up? Happy New Year, my brother, DJ Strick. I love it. Here's my last and final lesson. My last lesson that I learned that I'm going to share with you because I had a whole list. And then I was like, I can't do that because it'll be a 3-hour long live stream. Profit with passion. Profit with passion. So what I mean with this, now my friend who I have shared tributes to, Shantae, was all about her brand was Profit is the New Black. If love isn't part of your business equation, it's time to recalibrate. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you don't love what you're doing anymore, maybe it's time you stop doing that thing. If you don't love it, if you don't have passion, if you feel like, you know what, this is just becoming a chore. Like, I don't have love for this thing. I don't have enthusiasm for whatever this thing is. Maybe this is a good time in 2024 for you to make a different choice, to take a different path. There's nobody that ever said you have to stay where you are. Nobody's ever, even if they said that, You don't have to buy into that. You can change. We all have choices. Like I said, I was like, oh my God, well, all I'm going to do is talk about video marketing. And that's what I said I was going to do. And then I realized, breathe, girl. You do have other talents and skills. You can talk about other things and they can be within your brand. You just need to give yourself the leverage and the grace to be able to experiment with that. And you may lose a few people along the way. So what? You're going to gain people in other ways, in other paths. So I want you to really be clear. I'm going to go through all 5 and just remind you of all 5 of them, but I want to get a couple of these comments. Thank you, John, for reminding people to smash the like button. Michelle, you are as well. You know, I have so enjoyed being a part of your journey. So thank you. The nudge or kick you gave me is to guard my mind, watch who my mentors are in my feed. Yeah, if you've learned anything tonight, please pop it in the chat. I want to hear from you. Yes, thank you, Strick. Tell your family the same, that I'm sending my love and Happy New Year wishes. Yeah, you're shouting. I hope in a good way. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you being here. I hope that it was powerful and profound. Des Moines, yes, we need grace. All of us, we need that grace, don't we? Here's my gift to you. I'm going to share this with you. So I did create a marketing moves worksheet. It's not perfect, but it is usable. I'm glad you caught this live too, Lamika. If you go to Tanya's.link, that's a new short link I'm using, Tanya's.link/marketing moves. So what you see on the screen right here, you'll be able to go and download a worksheet. Because one of the things I'm committed to doing this year, see, I'm trying to put things into action, right? Is to stop waiting for everything to be perfect, for your landing pages to be done and your website to be redecorated and your brand to be remade over, because that could take weeks, months, a whole year. Instead, take that first step. So what you'll find on the other side of this link when you sign up is 2 things. One, you're going to be added to my email list, which I've committed this year to doing better at being consistent with. 2, you're going to get access to my Stop, Start, Continue Marketing Moves worksheet. And you'll be able to access it in Canva, and you'll be able to use it. You can type right into the form. You just create it and use it in your own free version of Canva. Use that. My stream bosses who are in here, you know, because we use this at the end of the year in our last training day. What it's designed to do is to help you to sit and really think with yourself or with your team about the things that you are doing right now and have done in the last year, the last month, the last 6 months, whatever the period of time is that you want to go back to. What is it you need to stop? What are you going to start doing? And what do you want to continue doing? So it's a free worksheet that you get access to. I'll pop that link up one more time so that you have that access. And then I do want to acknowledge, I'm going to do a really quick review of all 5 tips so that you have them, especially if we're going to end up doing, I'll probably do a recap reel. Okay. So let me pop up some comments real fast. I'm glad you made it here too. Nicolette said they were all great and in line with what you're doing, especially the simplifying. Yes. So I'm doing VIP days now with folks, literally taking a hard look and being very direct and saying, okay, why are you doing this when you have these things over here? Right? I have one this weekend and next weekend that I'll be doing with the client. Thank you, Valerie. I'm so glad. Yes, the start, stop, and continue exercise helped me. And look, you don't even have to go and download my worksheet or be in my email list to get access to this because you literally can take a sheet of paper and make 3 columns and write this out on your own. So I'm going to be real with you and say you could do that. The key is I want you to do something to really evaluate last year and not just throw it all in the trash and say I'm starting from scratch. But what can you build on? And that's what I literally wanted to do with these lessons tonight is to build on experiences and things that have happened and turn that into something that can be useful. And I hope it was useful for you. It sounds like it was, so thank you. And thank you for spending time with me. If you didn't, remember to like. Let's do this one real quick recap. If you haven't liked the video, be sure to like it. Here we go. So here's the recap. We have 5 lessons. And the first one is identify your boundaries versus your barriers. Like make that differentiation between what's a boundary and what's a barrier because sometimes they look a lot alike. And it's a good idea to remove the barriers if something is getting in the way of you being better, improving, making more money, being healthier, whatever it is. That barrier that used to be a boundary may need to be reevaluated. Number 2 is make over your marketing. That means you need to take a look at your tactics because it may be that your traditional tactics, the ones that you were using before to get results, are now outdated. And you can leverage technology in a smart and efficient way to get more done and to be more innovative, but you do not need to allow that technology, including AI and other methods, to take over your humanity. You still need to be at the helm. The AI and the other tactics are enhancements. The other thing I mentioned in that same tip is that you need to make use of many of the resources you already have to do that makeover instead of constantly going out and buying new things to apply to your marketing strategy. Number 3, be mindful of your mentors. Be really clear about who you are and what you value, what's important to you, what is your lifestyle like, what do you want it to become, what's the reality of your calendar, so that as you're looking for mentors, they truly are aligned with who you are and who you want to become. Accelerate action is the number 4, which is don't keep procrastinating and waiting for things to be perfect. We can take a step at a time and move forward. And even if it's slower, remember my example of the fog, even if it's slower, we'll still get to where we need to be, but we need to move and not stand still. So accelerate, speed up your action, move, take action. And then the final one is to profit with passion. If you don't love what you do, now is a great time to make some changes. Change your path. Find something new to learn. Increase your business acumen in an area where you really are excited about learning that new thing, that new skill, and move in a different direction if you need to, but love what you do at all times because life is way too short. I had no idea that my friend would be gone before 2024. I had no idea. We are the same age. We were born, our birthdays are in the same week, and she's gone. It is too fleeting for you to sit around and do things that really you have no joy around it. So find your joy, find your passion, be enthusiastic about what you're doing, and make the shift if you need to. All right, folks. Yeah, I see your comments, John. That's fun. All righty. It's been my pleasure. It's my honor always to come and be with you on Thursday nights. Next Thursday, I do want to let you know we're going to have somebody really incredible coming, and he's going to be teaching. We talked about doing a webinar. We could have done a paid webinar with the content that we're going to be talking about. But instead, I said, no, I want this to be for my community. I want this to be open for my community. I don't want them to have to feel like they need to go and sign up for anything. I just want this for my Stream Like a Boss TV family. And he agreed. So Cast Magic, Greg Wasserman is coming to hang out with us and to talk about Cast Magic, which is, by the way, an excellent tool that many of you have purchased on my recommendation. When they had the lifetime deal, you went out and bought it, but you may not be using it or using it effectively. So he's going to come and talk to us about how we can leverage this tool, which allows us to enhance what we're creating using the power of AI for podcasts, whether they're video or audio podcasts. So I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing in that. So join us next Thursday. You'll see information on my YouTube channel already for that. I'm super excited to introduce you to him. Take care, everybody, and have an amazing evening. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm sure he's probably going to give me a promo code or something. So come back, Debbie, and let's see. I'll see if I can convince him. All right. Have a good night. And thank you so much. Be blessed and have an amazing start to 2024. I hope this has helped some. I'll see you next Thursday.